Welcome back to Teresa's Dead. My name is Teresa and I'm very much alive. I have an awful garbage filthy mouth, so viewer discretion is advised. But if you're not into that or weird shit in general, this is definitely not the place for you. Feel free to exit the video here. No harm, no foul. But I'll remember our time fondly. Welcome to New Nonsense. New Nonsense. Ooh. I forgot what video this was. Welcome to Fun Size Friday, y'all. Oh man. Alright, so if you are new here, welcome. Fun Size Fridays, where I take a bunch of different products, I give you concise little reviews and let you know if they're a complete waste of time and or money. Usually they're both. Listen, why surround yourself with inferior products these days? Am I right? In today's video, we have a lot of makeup to talk about. We have the new foundation and concealer from Concealer. Ooh, my New York accent. Concealer from Kosas. The new Gemini 2 palette from Melt Cosmetics. And the Bridgerton collection from the Grande Dame, Pat McGrath. But before I let you know if anything is a waste of money, and you're gonna wanna listen to all of this, a word from today's sponsor. This episode of Fun Size Friday is brought to you by Monk Pack. I love Monk Pack. I love Monk Pack. You know why? Because I fell in love with them many moons ago. Before the world went all topsy-turvy, I used to work in an office, and that's how I discovered Monk Pack. Around the holidays, one of our managers decided to bestow us healthy snacks. And the only brand that was good in that basket was Monk Pack. If you've never heard of them, let me tell you a little bit about them. Monk Pack offers low sugar, keto-friendly bars that are plant-based, gluten-free, and non-GMO. They're the perfect snack for anyone and everyone, whether you're trying to eat better or whether you want to cut back on your sugar and carb intake without sacrificing the taste. Because let me tell you, not every healthy snack is created equal. Now, the two bars that I absolutely adore, both their keto granola bar and their keto nut and seed bar, contains about 1 gram of sugar and about 2 to 3 grams of net carbs. And with each bar containing about 150 calories or less, I still cannot believe how amazing these taste. Like I mentioned, healthy bars usually lack in flavor. You might as well think you're eating newspaper dipped in applesauce. But these are so good. They're soft and chewy, they have so much flavor, and you can actually taste the ingredients in the bar. So whether it's a delicious granola bar or a nut and seed bar, you're gonna taste every little thing, and you're not gonna have that weird aftertaste that happens when you eat healthy snacks. You know that aftertaste I'm talking about. Not here. Not here, friends. I think people often have misconceptions about these bars because they're like, oh, this is just for someone who does keto. That's not the case, friends. They are for anyone and everyone. These are hands down the best snack option if you're looking to reduce any sugar intake, but still, again, wanting to maintain flavor. Now, when I tell you it doesn't matter which flavor you get, I am not being facetious when I say that. Every damn bar is so delicious. And honestly, it's probably one of the few things that I actually miss about working in an office. Whenever a big deadline was approaching, these little babies were the beacon of hope that would get us through the day. Although I have tried a lot of their flavors. I think I've tried pretty much all of them. My personal favorite is this one, and this is the peanut butter dark chocolate bar. This is the perfect balance of peanut butter and dark chocolate. I am not a dark chocolate person. This is the only dark chocolate I can stand behind. And it's the perfect balance that will forever change your life. Or if you're in the mood for something a little less flashy, try the coconut cocoa chip bar. And I actually have to thank my mom for this one. One day she came over to my apartment when I used to live in New York. One day she saw these bars sitting on my kitchen counter and she said, and I quote, "What are those flashy looking granola bars?" I guess when you have blue packaging, it makes them flashy. I love it. Now, a little bit about my mom. She eats like a 6-year-old. So the fact that I got her to eat this and she enjoys this, and she now texts me to let me know if she could find these in the supermarket. Listen, if that's not a stamp of approval, I don't know what is. I remember when she first had them, I said to her, once you have it, you will never forgive yourself for eating such inferior granola bars. And guess what? She hasn't, and neither have I. But you know what? Monk Pack is not here to judge you. They're here to help you because they're so confident in their product. It's backed by a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll exchange your product or refund your money, whichever you prefer. So if you're looking to get your culinary mind blown all over your face with these delicious bars, you can get 20% off your first purchase of any Monk Pack product by visiting monkpack.com. It's just so satisfying. And make sure you enter the code Teresa at checkout or click the link in the description to get 20% off. Thank you again to Monk Pack for sponsoring today's video. Y'all go support the sponsors that support your garbage queen and your garbage queen's mom. Okay, so now that I had my delicious snack and I'm ready to get real, because it's gonna get real, we have a lot of things to talk about. Okay, that's probably the best way I can describe it. Things. Let's start with Kosas first. So Kosas recently came out with a foundation and a concealer. And I picked up both during the Sephora sale because I heard a lot of good things about them. But initially I wasn't sold. I find Kosas products to be incredibly yellow, almost piss yellow. And since I'm a cool toned fish, yellow looks weird on me. Almost as if I died along the Oregon Trail, okay? Like, I just look all kinds of messed up. Now, the Revealer Skin Improving Foundation SPF 25 with hyaluronic acid and niacinamide retails for $42 and comes in 36 shades, and it's described as a skin reviving SPF treatment foundation that instantly blends like a second skin with a natural dreamy finish to blur, visibly smooth texture, and minimize pores. This is a natural finish foundation with medium coverage. And you know what? I am fucking obsessed with it! I love this foundation. It's so good. It doesn't even have any business being this good. I don't understand it. And I know this video is way after the Sephora sale, like I know. And I hope that if people did purchase this, they are loving it just as much as I am. Now this foundation comes in several different undertones, but I ultimately chose shade 120, which I believe is considered light with cool undertones. And dare I say, this is actually a perfect match. I was so fearful and thinking that I was gonna look like the creature from Sin City, but I don't have to worry about that. Now the formula is on the thinner side, and you can get a nice medium coverage without it being cakey. Even when layering, you do not experience any cakiness whatsoever. It's like whatever's in this formula will never allow you to look like a cakey fucking mess. The foundation hugs your skin in such a way that it really does look like your skin, but better. I love seamless foundations, and this truly feels like I have nothing on my face. Oftentimes they would be like after the 12-hour mark and I would still have my makeup on. I didn't want to take it off because one, my skin looks so good, and it really felt like I had nothing on my face. Now this foundation works great with a sponge, a brush, or my little dick sponge that I love so much. But for me, I found the best way to apply it is using a brush and then going over it lightly with a sponge just to remove any brush marks. I usually do about 2 layers with this product because I like to try to build it to like a high medium, and I kind of almost get it there, but I still see my redness poking through. I love that this foundation doesn't oxidize, and most importantly, it doesn't settle into my student loan stress lines. I feel like if anything, this foundation really does a great job at brightening my skin. This doesn't emphasize any dry texture or my pores, and I have a fair amount of dry texture on my nose. Everything looks really fucking seamless, very airbrushed. I love that everything also looks slightly blurred. I would say this is pretty much on par with like a blurring primer. And above all, it has a really nice finish. Now I think for me, it looks a little bit more radiant only because I pair it with my delicious baby, my Ritual Diffuse Thorn Oil, but I need it because I am drier than a mummy's dick, okay? Like I need hydration in my face. So it's gonna look incredibly radiant, but I can assure you that it does have like a nice hydrating finish, but I think because I paired it with my primer, it looks super radiant, which that's what I like anyway, because again, I'm just a dry bitch. Now, interestingly enough, I can kind of get away with not setting it because it does dry down, but I do notice a little light transferring, especially like around my nose area. So for me, I use a light amount of powder to set it. And even when setting it with some powder, the radiance still shines through. I don't experience any pools of oil at the end of the day, or I don't get any sort of dryness. Like my skin looks incredibly good. This year, I don't know what's in the water and I don't want it to stop, but I feel like there's been so many good foundations. I want to say, was it last year or the year before? It was kind of rough. It was rough, all right? But lately, the last like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 foundations I've tried have all become like my holy grail foundation. And it's bananas to me because now I have so many options. For a while, I felt like I was really just sticking with my tried and true, and I was kind of like hesitant about trying newer stuff. Now I'm like, yes, I love everything that 2022 has been putting out. And dare I say, this might actually be like my favorite one out of all the new ones I've tried. And I love all of them. And the reason why this is probably like my favorite one as of right now is because this works so well in warmer weather. While I love my makeup forever, I actually really find myself kind of reaching for this one a little bit more. Now, some days are warmer than others. And anytime I have this particular foundation on, I know that everything is gonna stay into place. And I know that I'm never gonna experience it running down my fucking face. This was a pleasant surprise considering the other Kosas product I have was way too yellow and just looked alarming on me. The longevity is great. I had no issues with it breaking down or losing coverage. It gradually and gracefully breaks down at the end of the day, so you don't have to experience giant holes where your foundation should be. I really don't have a bad thing to say about it. I love the packaging, I love the color match, I love the price, everything about it is fucking top notch. And if they ever discontinue this, I will raise hell. Mark my words. Now, they also released a concealer in the same line. The Revealer Super Creamy Plus Brightening Concealer and Daytime Eye Cream retails for $28 and comes in 28 shades. A crease-proof, medium coverage, super creamy concealer, eye cream, and spot treatment in one that visibly brightens and helps reveal better looking skin. Now, I actually have two of them. One is in the shade 05N and the other one is 01N. I think I should have been 1.5, but it's been out of stock and whatever, so I decided just to get these two. Sometimes it's easier to work with a lighter concealer as opposed to a darker one. But I have to say, even though that these are neutral options, I don't feel like they are too yellow. So again, happy to report that this is not piss yellow. Now the difference between the two is very, very subtle. But I'm kind of happy that I have both of these products because I am just an extra bitch. I usually put the 0.5 in the inner corner and the 1 in the outer corner just to, like, I don't know, give myself some depth. I don't know, I just started doing it and I was like, I like this. Anyway, this is a very nice medium coverage concealer that claims it's crease proof. And you know what? For the most part, I think it is. I have lovely student loan stress lines, especially in this region. And I always have to powder that area because if I don't feel okay emotionally or physically, because for the remainder of the day, I know something's not right. So while I'm not brave enough to venture into the cold, harsh world without under eye powder, for the brief moments that I don't have it on, it's really, really nice. I think the only issue I have with this concealer is that I wish it was buildable. Well, yes, you can build it up and you won't experience any sort of cakey bullshit. It doesn't become full coverage. For what it is, I think it's a fantastic medium coverage option, especially if you're looking for something a little bit more natural. It's hydrating, it's creamy, it's incredibly easy to apply, and excellent at brightening the under eye area. And it also works well with light spot concealing. But if you're looking for a full coverage moment, it's never gonna happen. The older I get, the more I need to conceal my sins. And this doesn't do the trick. Don't get me wrong, I like it. I didn't have any issues with application, oxidation, or creasing. I just need more coverage. And while I'm okay with having a medium coverage for a foundation, I still like to use some full coverage concealer just to get all my red bits and bobs. I can't do that with these. I'm looking for more coverage. I'm a geriatric millennial that doesn't fucking sleep. I don't need people knowing that. So while this is something that I wouldn't repurchase again, I'm happy that I at least got to try it, see what all the fuss is about. And I think if you're looking for a nice medium coverage concealer, either the sins on your face are not that visible or you prefer to have a much more natural finish, then this could be for you. But yeah, I would definitely not repurchase these again though, just because I need and crave and want full coverage. But for the time being, when in fucking Rome, right? However, the foundation, 1,000 times yes. Like this is the thing that you get. This, if you want medium, yes, but this is the true winner here. Okay, now we're gonna switch gears and we're gonna talk about the Melt Cosmetics Gemini 2 palette. The Gemini 2 palette retails for $58. This palette has 10 brand new shades of matte textures with a dab of shimmer. This palette is soft and edgy at the same time. Okay, listen, I love the first Gemini palette, all right? I fucking love that palette. This palette is easily in the top 10 of best palettes of all time. And yes, well, there is like, you know, weirdness with the shimmers. They're not great. Nothing beats this grungy color story of baby shit, okay? These are grungy and badass. So while yes, the shimmers are water trash, I don't give a fuck because the mattes are where it's at. So when this was announced, my makeup dick perked right up. Because if this is anything like the first palette, you could have my firstborn. That is, if I ever let anything slither out of me. I'm not. Anyway, this 10-pan palette comes in beautiful, beautiful packaging that, you know, kind of looks very, very similar to the Gemini, except this packaging kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Muerte palette, just in terms of weight. You get a lovely full-size mirror, and here is your color story. You have 8 matte shades and 2 metallics. Let's break it down by formula. The mattes, they're great. They're consistent with other melt palettes that I love. They're pigmented, yes, they have a bit of fallout, but they're incredibly easy to clean. When using the mattes, they blend easily and effortlessly, and I didn't experience any issues with patchiness, muddiness, lifting, fading, nothing. And while yes, some of the colors kind of look a little similar, I'm happy to say that there's a lot of depth in this palette, meaning if you're gonna be creating an all matte look, nothing is gonna get lost. Every shade stands out. And especially with some of these darker shades, there's a lot of depth here. At the end of the day, I'm just a sucker for like rosy pinks and greens. I think they just go so beautifully together. They complement each other so well, and they don't fucking disappoint. They're incredibly solid, and I have to say that I didn't experience any sort of irritation when it comes to the rose shades or the green shades either, but most specifically the rose shades, because sometimes I do get irritations with like berries or pinks. And while yes, my skin resembles a bucket of mayonnaise left out in the sun, when using the pinks, I don't look like I'm infected. They're perfect, and I think that is probably the selling point about this palette. It's the mattes. I feel like it's gotten to the point where I just want Melt to abandon their shimmers. They're never as good as I want them to be, but their mattes are fucking solid. Thankfully, we are limited to the amount of metallics that we get in this palette, so there's just two. The green one, Matteo, it's fucking stiff. It's stiff. While they do swatch nicely, they get stuck on the eye. I don't know if it's because they're pressed differently, but they're not as smooth as some other shimmers I've tried from this brand. They're very fucking stiff. And when applying it to the eye, it almost feels like there's a speed bump on my lid. It's the weirdest thing. It always like skips. I don't fucking understand it. So the green shade I feel like is the worst one. Then you have Schmood, I don't know, whatever. You have this one. It's slightly better, but you do kind of get like a decent amount of crumbliness to this shade. And when used with glitter glue on actually both of these shades, it does have like a stone-like texture to it, kind of almost making me look like a weathered gargoyle. Longevity is fine, which makes sense because it's encasing me in fucking stone. So once I'm able to solve 3 riddles, I can safely take this off my fucking eyes. So like I mentioned, the red shade is slightly better than the green shade, but not by much. Again, I don't know what they're feeding these things. But they need to increase their fish heads because these bitches are hangry. It's funny because, you know, when I think about their palettes, I think about how loose their shimmers were in the past, right? Most specifically like Smoke Sessions, and how easily it slip and slide out of the fucking pan. So I don't know, I guess I prefer the stone formula because at least I don't have to pick it out of my fucking carpet, and I know it's not gonna be preying on drifters. I don't know if you know this, but my Smoke Sessions palette is actually on the America's Most Wanted list, last seen in Tulsa, Oklahoma, just saying. Anyway, I like this palette. I like it a lot. But is it better than the first palette? No, this is still the clear winner. To me, this is a much more unique color story, the Gemini one. And while this is very beautiful, it doesn't feel super special. In ways, when I look at this long enough, I see other color stories from the brand and somehow kind of got slapped together in this palette. And maybe I'm the only one, but I could think of at least 3 or 4 palettes that have a little bit of an overlap here from the brand. So like I mentioned, the only selling point about this palette is the mattes. They're great, and that's probably the only reason why you should purchase it. If you want those shimmers, abort mission, baby. Look somewhere else because you're gonna be disappointed. But if you're coming for the mattes, you won't be. Now, if you don't have the first palette, I would recommend getting the first palette over the second one. They just relaunched it to match this packaging, so I would recommend getting that one over this one. This is a staple. This is a little too deja vu for me, but in any case, it's not bad. It's better than I expected, but I still think the first one is just far superior. Shit's gonna get fucked up in a second, all right? Let's talk about the Bridgerton collection from Miss Pat McGrath. Now, I bought the first collection. I don't know why. But if you want to see that video, I'll link it up in the corner. But you know what? Don't even watch. Who cares? Don't watch it. The point is, palette was shit, but the highlighter was fucking phenomenal. And that's the only reason why you should ever pay attention to that collection is the delicious highlighter. Anyway, in this collection, I picked up the 6-pan palette, the blush palette, as well as a lipstick. Everything else looked kind of meh. So let's start with the palette first. The Belle of the Ball eyeshadow palette. This little palette is in the same packaging as the first palette, so basically kind of gaudy and feels incredibly cheap, which always feels great, especially when you paid $65 for it. Oh, it gets better. You wait. This palette has 6 shades, 2 mattes, and 4 shimmers. Now the shimmers come in a variety of finishes, some sparklier than the rest. When this was announced, I only wanted the blush palette, but I'm a stupid bitch and my curiosity got the best of me. I didn't care for the first palette and I low-key just wanted Mother to prove me wrong. Well, she fucking did it. Ugh, I hate this palette. I hate this palette. I hate it. I hate it. Well, there's some things that I like. It's just not for me, fam. And if you got this shit to work, kudos to you. I wish I could be in that camp. I'm not. I'm over here on lonely fucking island, okay? Because it just did not work for me. But let's talk about it. Let's start with the mattes, right? So you have 2 different mattes in this palette. They're just okay. They're okay. You know, when I first dipped my brush into this one, which is Regency Romance, there was literally no pigment. And I was like, that can't be. April Fool's Day just passed. It didn't make any sense. It's a very light pink, but it is buildable, which is fine. I don't mind that at all. But at first it was like, Where's the pigment? Where is she? Where is it? Hi. Hello, McFly, where are you? Like, where did you go? Eventually, I got to where I needed it to be. I didn't find these mats to be life-changing at all. If anything, they were just okay. I think I have mats from this brand that are just fucking far better. But I think what really irritated me the most is that when I would finally like lay the mats down and then I would take a clean blending brush to, you know, just make the edges a little bit softer, the formula started kind of blending into nothing, which is wild because it took me so much time to like build up the crease and took literally half the time to erase what I did. And what it did leave was just like a nice pink infected eye. It's a shitty magic trick if you ask me. Now Forbidden Amour is a little bit better, definitely more pigmented than this one. But like unlike Pat's Mattes, which rhymes by the way, it just doesn't feel consistent. They lifted after a few hours, which is kind of surprising. So all that was left was like a light remnants of someone shitting on my pillowcase because it just looked like I had pink eye. Also, I was kind of hoping that, I don't know, that this would be like 2 different colors. I feel like maybe it's just me, but these are like the Groundhog's Day of like the matte shades in the last quite a few actually. Pat palettes, it's like always just these pinky colors and it's like, I get it, you like pink, I get it. Can we have something else, please? No? Oh, fuck myself? Gladly. Now let's move on to the shimmers. This is where it really falls apart. I'm gonna start with the best shade. All right, this is the best shade in my opinion. It's this one here. This is Refinement, right? Is that Refinement or Diamond's Desire? Is it Diamond's Desire? I never know how to read these fucking palettes. No, it's Diamond's Desire. Okay, so it's this one over here. Now, usually these like multi-dimensional sparkling shades like literally just do not agree with my face. But this one is perfect. And it's actually what I have on the lid today. Is it perfect? Sorry, to second guess myself a little bit. Ooh. I mean, it's, okay, I mean, it's a little transfery, but it's the best that we're gonna do, kids, okay? Anyway, as much as I really do like this shade, there are some, I don't know, there's like a little bit of a learning curve with it. It's not the kind of shade where you should layer. It kind of creates this like weird heavy texture when you do that. So when I was using this shade, I made sure to try to use it in like maybe 1 to like 2 layers. And still then 2 layers I felt like was a little bit too much. It creates this really like heavy texture on my lid. But if you do get it perfectly, which is pretty much just like 1.5 layers, you do have like this nice intergalactic alien slut moment. And it almost makes the palette worth it. The fallout is terrible. The transferring is terrible. I have glitter glue on. It doesn't give a shit. Like, it's like, no, I don't care. Oh, you have a sticky base? Fuck you and your sticky base because I am literally gonna live in your eyebrow and there's nothing I could do about it, okay? Nothing I could do about it. But I will say though, that while the fallout does suck, it doesn't hurt my eyes. So when it inevitably falls into my eyeball, it doesn't hurt. So I guess that's cool. So it's the best out of the worst, you know? Now starting with like, whatever, we have this shade up here, it's called Refinement. This one was interesting. It's classified as a shimmer, but it feels incredibly powdery. Even as an inner corner highlight, like, I don't know, it's okay, I guess. Like I tried to build it up. No, it just doesn't like it. It's too powdery, it's weird. And when I did use it all over my eyelid, like I could see the dry texture on my eyelid. That was a first. I was like, I didn't expect for this to happen. I didn't like it. So yeah, it's a weird shimmer, I would say. So the next one you have is this one down here, and that's Daring Dandy. This one, lackluster. And that's just being nice about it, I think. I was expecting this like metallic minty shade. Instead, the color looks like mint phlegm. Consistency at all. Like there's nothing about it that looked good. Again, kind of looked a little bit like Refinement, meaning that it just looked a little too powdery, but also sparkly, but kind of dull. I don't know, like it just didn't look good on the lid. Then you have the last shade, which this one pains me. This one's Forever Charmed. I was so excited for this shade. And honestly, this is probably the reason why I picked it up because I was like, oh, that's fucking beautiful. I can't wait to put it all over my eye holes. They always say never meet your heroes. This was so disappointing. So disappointing. I hated it. This just looks so dirty on me and just like not in a fun, sexy way either, okay? It looks like I can't be trusted to sit the right way in a toilet seat. Like I look like that kind of a person. Like you don't want to associate with them. And I get it, okay? Like I look dirty and dingy. It pains me because I love bold jewel tones, but the quality of this palette made it abundantly clear that this is not for me and it wasn't meant for me. So while a lot of people have really enjoyed this palette and have made beautiful looks, like fucking congratulations, I am not one of you. I can't be you, and it's fine. You know, like this shit happens. Not everything is meant for everybody. And I hope to God if you did purchase this, that you didn't feel like you wasted your money, because I sure as fuck did, okay? Wasted my money with this one, and it was just I'm gonna take a beat, actually, when it comes to like more palettes, especially from this collection, if they decide to do another round, or just maybe future these little mini guys, because it just wasn't it. These two was not it, fam. The only silver lining I have here is that at least this shade is fantastic. Everything else can literally kick rocks. So I hope it works better for you than it did for me. I sincerely hope that. Anyway, let's move on to the next thing. Let's talk about the Blushing Delights palette. This little palette retails for $60. Yes, you heard right, $60 for gaudy cardboard. You get 3 different blushes and 1 highlighter. Each shade has a multi-dimensional pearl finish and mistake-proof blendability, which is a heavy fucking claim if you ask me. And you know what? Mother delivered. Listen, when she does things right, you're my queen. When you do me dirty, I'm like, are we in a fight that I'm not aware of? I should have just listened to my intuition and just picked this up. I could have saved myself 1, money, and 2, drama. Like, this is great. This is fucking fantastic. I just hate that it's in this weird fucking Russell Stover's box. Or actually, you know what it reminds me of? Oh my God, back in the day when my mom used to like order Avon makeup and like perfume sets or whatever would come in something like this. That's what it kind of reminds me of. It's a little bit of a blast from the past, but you would think for the $60 price tag, this would be like, I don't know, just better, but packaging is fucking garbage on it. I almost kind of want to take these babies out, but I feel like if I do that, I will break them in the process and it's just not worth it. So now I love this brand's blush formula. I think it's really beautiful, but these are something incredibly special. And I sincerely hope that they release this formula in the future, just not in this packaging. And of course, I really hope that it comes in, you know, different colors, because I would hate to think that if this is the only iteration we're ever going to get of this, we are in the darkest timeline. Okay, like shit's bad here. Fucking 6 months we're gonna be eating each other, okay? Like that's just how messed up it is. But anyway, in this palette you have a coral shade, a pink shade, and a berry shade. These blushes have a very beautiful soft baked lightweight formula, and they are incredibly pigmented. However, if you do find yourself turning into a spooky doll from the Victorian era, don't you worry. This blush can blend out so effortlessly and so easily. While yes, you might look startled, like, oh my God, how the fuck am I gonna retract this? You start to blend it into a very beautiful, like subtle, soft moment. It's unlike anything I've ever seen at all. I have played with a lot of blush, whether it was drugstore, indie, high-end, and nothing that I can think of compares to this formula. And I hate that something so fucking luxurious is trapped in this fucking demon cardboard. These blushes have fantastic longevity, luminosity, and again, just incredibly easy to work with. They really just buff so beautifully. And honestly, this is the only thing that you should probably pick up out of the whole collection. Yes, $60, okay, it is expensive. Totally worth it just for how fucking beautiful the formula is. And for my uncooked chicken babies out there, don't be scared. Like, yes, the colors are pigmented, but they become much more manageable when you do blend them out. Especially if your skin resembles, you know, my fucking wall. Easily, this is the best thing about the whole collection. Just don't sleep on it. Really, this is fucking phenomenal. Now, the highlighter, initially I was gonna be like, no, it's trash, fuck it, whatever, who cares. There's something kind of cool about it, but I don't think it's my favorite formula that they have put out for highlighters. To me, I think what they have been doing for the last few releases are like the best of the best, the S tier. They should never fucking touch it. This kind of mirrors the baked blushes, except I would find this highlighter to be more on the subtle side. These are incredibly pigmented, and while they do blend out to be a nice softer moment, this, even when you do build it up, it's never as intense as I want it to be. And I think the shade, it's okay. Like, it's a little bit dark on my skin. I can kind of make it work, especially if I combine it with the blush, but it's something that I could never wear on its own because it just looks like I have like a dark gold stripe on my face. And thinking about baked highlighters, I feel like Milani is probably one of the best ones out there because one, the formula is just so easy to use. It's incredibly powerful and blinding and alien slut. And I love it. That's what I wanted. I didn't get that with this. Plus there's some weird kind of gold overspray on top of it that's, you know, some of it's gone, but some of it is actually kind of like baked into the actual product. So when I do put the highlighter on my cheekbones, I am getting like rogue glitter bukkake, and it's not the easiest to clean. So I'm kind of curious that if they do come out with more of this formula in the future, you know, maybe I would be interested in trying this highlighter again, but in a shade that's much more appropriate for my skin tone. Maybe that's what it is, but I don't know. I want to like it more. It's just okay. Whatever. Even with that just being okay, these right here are the best things to come from this collection. So while yes, there's a dud amongst them, it's fucking still worth the price tag in my opinion. Just look past the weird Russell Stover packaging. Last but certainly not least, let's talk about the lipstick. The Satin Allure lipstick retails for $28, and out of all the gaudy packaging, this is by far the best looking piece in the collection. It's adorable, and I feel like all the shades that were created for this collection, they were just meant for me. I love me a good basic bitch nude, and these deliver. And I plan on picking up more of these shades, because I really, really thoroughly enjoy this formula. I have a few Pat lipsticks, and you know what? I think they're just okay. Like, I think the coolest thing about them is their case, but like the formula, I think they're just fine. I think Tom Ford has a better lipstick formula than Pat McGrath, in my opinion. But that was until I tried this one out. The Satin Shine finish has a medium buildable coverage. It's comfortable, it's creamy, and lightweight. It feels so incredibly nourishing on the lips, and it keeps the hydration without drying the lips out. So I picked up Negligee because as much as I wanted to pick up the other ones, I was like, I don't know how this formula is gonna be. If it's just gonna be okay, like I'd rather just have one instead of like 6. So I picked up Negligee because it just looked like the prettiest shade out of all of them. This is a neutral pink beige. Honestly, this is like the perfect basic bitch color that will complement almost every and any look. This is the lipstick that's gonna live in my bag because no matter what I have on my face, it's gonna fucking go. It's just one of those easy formulas that I don't really have to worry about. It's not gonna bunch up in the outer corner to kind of give me that weird like bacon bits kind of moment that sometimes happens with lipsticks. It's not gonna bleed into the outer corners to give me that like Joker look. This gradually wears down in such a beautiful way that it just really truly looks like your lips but better. And for my dry lip babies, this is perfect. While the wear down is very natural, your lips will still maintain a lot of nourishment. You won't feel like you need to keep constantly touching this up or putting a gloss on top of it. Like you could literally wear it on its own and just like ride it out and you'll be fine. I feel like I don't even do touch-ups with this. Like that's how much I really enjoy it on its own. I love that my lips feel smooth and hydrated throughout the day. So yeah, I would say the best things out of this collection is like the lipstick and the blush palette. Like those are the two things I would say like definitely check out. I would skip on this. I just don't think it's worth it, honestly. Like, no. It's a no for me, dog. But anyway, now I want to hear from y'all. Let me know down below if you picked up any of these products, if you like them, if you hate them, or if you're like, no, I could care less. Let me know because I love hearing from you. And again, thank you to Mug Pack for sponsoring today's video. I really appreciate it. And with that said, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it as always. Feel free to like, comment, hit that subscribe button, it's free, and hit that bell icon for notification of all my future posts. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, to all my beautiful, wonderful patron bubbies. Thank you so much for keeping this delicious, disgusting, filthy, trashy, really filthy, really gross, really nasty, really disgusting garbage boat afloat. I couldn't do without you, and I love your adorable little delicious faces. And if you want to know what is on my face, everything will be listed in the description box below. And I'll see you little pumpkins later. Bye.